welcome to the EBA Tonight. As they say, the only episodic show. You heard all the rest, now hear the best. It's your man, it's your boy, Ice the Man coming at you. Great show tonight with EBA Tonight. As always, I have the one and only, I can't get his name right tonight, but I swear I'm thinking it's Texas James Smith, the commish.
I'm here again, man. Here again. Another week down, and what a week it was, boy. But we made it through, and we ready to go on to week 3.
Oh, we got a lot of drama to talk about tonight. A lot of drama. Congrats to you and your team for handling what you had to handle this week and juggle that around, with especially being short-staffed that you are. Some people were, complaining and crying and whining, but definitely I got to hit your music again just for hypes to the EBA staff. So,
that's boy.
Yeah. Also, tonight, freshly removed from Crow's Teat, I had to go there. My boy Irving, I had to get him on the show this week. He hit me up and said, listen, I got to show up. I'm balling out. So, Irving, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Mr. Bebe Kids, once known as. I don't know what other you went off, but Irving definitely balling out this season on the Cavs over there. I mean, you gotta look at this season, and I'm sure when we get to your team, you got a few things to tell Mike where to stick it. But it's going to be a great show tonight. I'm happy to have you on. Thanks for coming on so far, and you ready to get rolling?
I'm glad to be on the show, man. I'm ready.
All right. Moving on right away, we got a great show. We got power rankings. We're going to go over a few things here. As always, we talk about the EBA power rankings. Where does your team rank? Keep in mind, this goes mainly from how the divisions are playing out, where the standings are, some head-to-head records, what happened during the previous week, where the changes are. We discuss each team individually. This week, and I don't know why it's doing this to me, but this week we have fallen apart right away. Fallen apart because I put it in a folder. Now it won't be there. This week we have.
Hey, it goes along with the week, man. It goes along with the week.
My show's falling apart. Everything's falling apart this week. Week 2 power rankings. There's 4 teams that rose in the rankings, 4 teams that dropped, and 2 that stayed the same. Really awkward. What 2 stayed the same? It's kind of nice. Everything in the middle kind of got jumbled up back and forth. There was some drama we got to discuss. Some other things we're going to work on as we move forward through the show. Let's jump right into number 10. As always, the Lakers, number 10. Now, I have some memes here. If you're watching on Twitch, you can definitely see them here. One has a trash can that says Lakers, and it's circled, and it says, of course, the trash container says Lakers. And then another one has Obama on the phone that said, let me get this straight, the Lakers' initials will be changed from LAL to LOL. And I got bottom feeders with a question mark. They have won a few games, so I do have to give them props. However, they've only won 2 games. They show 4, but the other 2 are forfeits. That's because the other teams were having issues and problems and couldn't make it to the games. Number 10 with the Lakers, bottom feeders, Texas James Smith. I didn't even put their name Lakers out there. I covered it up with memes because they keep saying we're the meme team. We're the meme potential is why I picked the team. So, I mean, it's just a joke at this point that they're even still in the league. I mean, Texas bottom feeders, question mark?
I don't know why there's a question mark on that, but I mean, let's keep it real. There's definitely not a question. It is what it is, man. Trainer thought he was gonna do something with a shit team, which he can't. He doesn't. He puts together a good roster, man. If they had a good team, they would have been a contender. But there's nothing else to say about that. I mean, they're the Lakers.
Well, the only 2 legitimate wins they have is against Utah. One this week and one, I believe, the first week. The other 2 are forfeits, which I'm, using air quotes here, legitimate, whatever, one way or the other. The bottom line is if the other team would have showed up, the likelihood of them winning would have been very low. Irving, I mean, first of all, would you play on this Lakers team?
Never. I would immediately request a trade like everyone else did.
Yeah, and second, go ahead.
Trainer's a good guy. Everybody on that team's they're good people, but it's kind of a joke that they even picked that team.
Yeah, well, they
never had a chance.
Let me get it straight. I don't mean the team, the players are bottom feeders. I like a lot of the guys that are on the team. In fact, I have a lot of those guys on my friends list that I play with as well in the evening, and I don't think they're garbage. I don't think Wikipedia is garbage. I don't think Trainer the Realist 260. I talk to him constantly. I don't think he's garbage. E-Money, those guys. It's just the team that he picked is not competitive. I'm not going to keep beating this up. I mean, are they? I guess the question I want to ask you: are they going to stay there at the bottom the entire time? Because the real big question is they're 2 games away from the Clippers, or even 2 games away from the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Washington Wizards. At the end of the season, is the Lakers still going to be at the bottom? You think, Irving?
Yeah, I think they're going to be at the bottom. I mean, they're the LA Lakers. It's not really a pickable team. You would have to get the best users in the league and put them on that team for them to be a playoff contender. And they still wouldn't contend.
I mean, if you had 20 teams in the league, do you think they'd be picked even with 20?
No, I doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, arguably the 20th pick, right?
It's a low team. It's a very low. Yeah, they're like bottom 25.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. Texas, anything you want to say about the Lakers, or can we just move on?
There's nothing to say about the Lakers, man. This is going. Don't feed them.
Don't feed them. All done. Number 9, surprisingly, dropped 1 spot from last week, is the Oklahoma City Thunder. I have a question, and I'm going straight. I always skip you, but I'm going to go straight back to you right away. Deja vu question mark with the Cavaliers last season. Your one line was pretty okay. I mean, they were winning majority of their games. Their second line was struggling. Is this deja vu in Oklahoma City?
I mean, deja vu as in we're gonna make the playoffs, yeah. But not anything beyond that. That's about that. That's where that stands. I feel like we just got to get people that are consistent, and we're taking a step in that direction. I feel like we're shuffling some pieces around, and if it takes one line to get us there, then that's what it takes. But whatever it is, we've been in a situation before. We'll turn it around. We still got half a season to go, so I'm not worried at all.
Well, 6-10, and I believe one of your lines has all, if not but one of those wins. All 6 of those wins for the 2 weeks we're in. I mean, do you feel that that's just a fluke, or do you feel, like I said, that one line can carry you to the playoffs?
Well, I feel like one line can carry you to the playoffs to an extent. I don't think that it's going to be, we're making changes, so I don't think it's going to be like, I think our second line is going to start pulling out a couple dubs here and there, but it's definitely going to be tough, man. And, the team is not shooter oriented like this 2K is, so it's a little like it's a workaround. You got to really find that happy medium, which we're still looking for.
Irving, I mean, looking at the OK City Thunder, you listen to what Texas James has said. Do you feel that the Thunder's even a contender for a 3rd seed, 2nd seed to even make the playoffs, or do you feel like they're just a 6-10? I mean, they're only 1 game out. Just so we're clear, the East is very competitive. Everybody says it's garbage in the East. I disagree. I think it's very competitive. You have, for instance, Oklahoma City beating the Pelicans, and then the Pelicans turn around and whipping the Wizards, and then the Wizards turn around and beat Oklahoma. So, I mean, they're just all trading wins back and forth. And the Rockets are winning to people that they should be losing to, and then losing to people they're winning again. I mean, it's an absolute mess over there in the East, because I think each team is so competitive. Looking at the Oklahoma City, I mean, you're sitting comfortably in the number 1 spot in the West, but looking at the Oklahoma City Thunder, what are your thoughts?
I mean, they can contend for playoffs. They're not going to go farther than the second round. They'll get lucky if they get out of the first. This was a selfish pick by Mike, man. It's kind of obvious that.
Why do you feel that this was a selfish pick? Why do you feel that this is a selfish pick by Mike, man?
There's just too many teams where they were at in, like, when drafting teams, like where they were at. There was too many teams that you could put over the Thunder. The Thunder, to me, are a bottom 7 team, and I feel like I'm pretty sure he had a higher pick than that. He thought he was going to get the Rockets. He couldn't get the Rockets, so he said, let me get Russell Westbrook. That's how I feel about that team, man. I don't think he's trying to win a championship. I think he's trying to get statistics, maybe win MVP. If he doesn't win MVP, it'll just be a waste of a season for him because he has no chance.
I think he's got a good shot at winning MVP this season. He's arguably,
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm
there.
saying if he doesn't win that, then he has
Yeah.
no chance. Like, it was just a waste of a season because he's not trying to win a ring with that team.
Wow. So shot directly. Do you have any response there, Texas James? You just gonna sit back and
People want to think about Mike being a Chuck, which Mike is a scorer, and that's where he bases his game off of, and nobody can dispute that at all. And Mike can't even dispute that. He'll say himself, he's a scorer, and he is the main scorer of his team every year. So, if he's an owner, and if that's why he picked the Thunder, or if there was other ways, Mike's a good dude, and I played with him for a long time, and I wouldn't call the dude selfish. He's a great guy, man. He leads the league, and he's up there in assists every single season, top 5 every year. So some people just, when certain people don't get the ball, or they see him shoot a lot, doesn't necessarily make him selfish. It just means like he's not looking at you, or he's looking somewhere else, or So his assists are up there, but as of, is this a selfish pick? I don't know, man. Maybe it was, maybe it's not, but it's what we got, so we're gonna make the best of what we got and take it to that next level.
The way I see it is, Mike, man, he gets top teams every season. He picks up the same people every season. He always gets these top teams. They never compete for a championship. They've never made the finals with the team with the roster that he keeps picking up. So to me, it's just, at this point, I don't know if he thinks he can win the ring. Like, I don't believe that he thinks right now that they have a chance. I think he is going for MVP. No one ever called him. He's not a bad point guard. He knows how to get his stats. No one's disputing that. He's a top point guard, but it's a selfish pick.
Well, I know the Thunder probably shouldn't have taken that high. We've had conversations on the show back that the Thunder probably shouldn't have been taken that high. I am no longer on the Thunder. We can talk trades a little later, which as talking with James, I think is positive for the show. I enjoyed my time there. I can tell you I enjoyed playing with Fig. I enjoyed playing with Mike, Man, Crash. Those guys are amazing to play with and see what they have going. I think Mike Man gets tunnel vision sometimes, but I do think that he is a top point guard, hands down, in the league, just from playing with him. I think he's a pure scorer, and you can't deny that. So moving on to number 8. Number 8 is the Washington Wizards, just barely beating out the Thunder because the head-to-head record there between Washington and Oklahoma City. I do believe Oklahoma City's never beat Washington, which I don't know what it is about that team. They've easily blown away teams like the Pelicans and the Cavs, or not the Cavs, but the Pelicans and the Clippers, excuse me. But they just struggle with the Washington Wizards. So the Washington Wizards I've got them down here. I don't know what I was doing on my, don't ignore this graphic because I don't know what was going through my head on that graphic. They're actually up, but the arrows got it going down. So I don't know what, I was doing this quick, right man, now, like super fast. They're up 1 spot. From last week, they were 9th. They're now up, and they took the 8th spot from the Thunder, sent them down. Looking at Washington right now, they are setting tied for that last spot over in the Eastern seed. I got still a seat because really in the East, any one of those teams can, still get a seat. So do they still have a seat? Do you feel that they will be talked about when it comes close to? We only got 2 weeks left. It's the trade deadline's this week. It ends, I believe, tomorrow at midnight. And then from there, you've got 2 weeks to kind of get what you have and build your team up from there. Do you think the Washington Wizards have the right pieces in the right spot to maybe still get a seat or still a seat? I don't know. Just ignore this graphic. It's a horrible, shitty graphic. Irving, do you agree with that or disagree? Steal a seat.
They should be a spot behind Oklahoma. They shouldn't. You
think so?
Yeah,
you think they're the only reason they're ahead is that the Thunder we have yet to beat them. And I say we because I was on the team last couple weeks, but we just struggled to beat. I don't know what it is about the Wizards. It's the way they play. They haven't figured it out. And after the game, we sat and talk about it. And Oklahoma City, we struggled to beat the Washington Wizards. That's the only reason that even on the division conference that shows them below them. I think if you can't beat them, you really shouldn't be above them unless they're getting beat by everybody else. But give me your thoughts. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Keep cutting you off.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't put them above the Thunder. I look at their roster. It looks pretty bad to me. It looks like a 9, maybe a 9 spot, just because the Lakers are there. But I think they definitely have the worst roster in the league. They just lost Ramo, so I don't even know.
They did lose Ramo?
If JT's still gonna be. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's getting traded to the Rockets.
Really? Wow. I didn't know Ramo was
That's
getting
what I
traded to
heard.
the Rockets, but that's solid. I do know Space Jam JT
But I mean,
is
even
now on the Jazz. I do know that. They
yeah,
traded
if
Space
they
Jam
lost
JT.
him, they have no chance because he was their best player. He was the only one that even gave them a chance to even like smell the playoffs. They wouldn't have done anything even if they made it. But I have to put them behind the Thunder. They just have no talent on the roster. The Wizards, John Wall can't shoot from anywhere. He can only dunk, lay the ball.
Now, see, I would agree with you on that. However, every time I tell Mags that the only reason he's talked about is because of Space Jam JT and Let's Get It Boy, he reminds me that out of those wins, the throw together lines they're throwing together have more wins than JT and Let's Get It Boy. He constantly reminds me of that. So I guess the question to throw it over to Texas, struggling with beating the Wizards as Oklahoma City, looking at this roster with getting rid of JT, and if it's true, Let's Get It Boy is also out at Washington. Does Washington have should they even be in a discussion, or should they be more in a discussion of whether or not the Lakers are going to finish over them?
With losing JT and losing Let's Get It Boy, it's gonna be hard for them, man. But I played them a couple times, man, and I don't know what it is, bro, but they be hitting some shit. But
2K loves them.
I know, man. I'm telling you, man. I don't know, but it's definitely gonna be hard for them to push forward, man. I mean, we had the Wizards, I think, at 5 in the preseason with the roster they had. So without those guys, they definitely are gonna hit a drop in the power rankings in the future. I mean, I don't know how much lower they can go, but it's gonna be a struggle for them for sure.
Well, they dropped, like you said, from that 5th spot all the way down to the 9th spot, and arguably is still there between 9 and 8. I mean, you could put them at that 9th spot if the Thunder was winning a couple more games, I think, easily. To be there at the end, I don't know. I don't think that they're going to be ones to steal a seat here. And I put steal a seat right on the Los Angeles Clippers, down 2 spots from last week. They have the number 7th spot. The Los Angeles Clippers fell a bit this week, simply because I was going through them and I was surprised they only had 3 wins on the week. So they had a really bad week this week. I know there was some drama regarding trading, and we'll talk about that when we kind of get on the Jazz, regarding losing Shump, picking up Mama not being able to play or being blacklisted, and then he had to throw a point guard in a spot, so that made that second line a little weaker without Shump there. But looking at this team, Irving, I mean, down 2 spots, do you think the Clippers will continue to fall, or they'll get it together and start to rise there and maybe steal a seat, like I have it right correctly on my this here for the playoffs?
No, I believe they'll probably be at the end of it the 8th best team, maybe 7th. Also, they're another team that I feel their roster is just talentless. They have a good 2K team, but the people on their team just aren't good enough to put it all together.
Now, the Cavs have 2 losses. One of them came from the Clippers. Do you feel that was a fluke game, or you feel that they're actually competitive enough to compete? Was it? Okay.
We were not. It wasn't me, but the other line was up like 8 going into the 4th. They started messing around a little bit. The Clippers are a good enough team to take advantage of that if you do mess around going into the 4th. So they thought they were a little bit better than they were, so they lost the game. They deserved it.
I like the clarification. Well, it wasn't me, but the other line, there.
I'm not, because I personally thought it was embarrassing, so I'm not gonna put my name on that.
Oh, he's not going to sign off on that one.
Because any loss is embarrassing, man. Let's be real.
So the Los Angeles Clippers steal a seat for there. Now, just so you're clear, the Clippers are 6-9, which is technically they're 7-9, because of the situation of waiting. So they're tied with like a second place Houston Rockets and New Orleans Pelicans, and they're only one game out of that third seed. And that third seed is really what those three teams are fighting for in that Western Conference. Do you think, Texas, that Los Angeles Clippers could sneak up and take that third seed away?
Oh man, that it's gonna be a tough, man. I mean, it's gonna be tough because I have to agree with Irvin. I just did, like, when we did the preseason rankings, we looked at that team and we were just like, the only player they had was Shump, and even with Shump, I felt like it'd still be a struggle for them to make it. And now that Shump is gone, with the whole situation that happened there, it's definitely going to be difficult because we all know Shumpy's a scorer, man, and I see that team. And I just see a bunch of LGBA talent on there, and we all know what that's like a B league for what we have here, and I just don't see them competing at the playoff contention level to make that spot. So I don't think they'll make it. I feel like I feel like a couple more teams ahead of them in this power ranking are going to really expand and take off and do their thing. So I definitely don't feel like they're going to sneak in at all.
So the Clippers
look at that team.
10, 9, 8. The Clippers were at 8. And then they actually jumped big. They had a really good week coming out. Like, haha, guys, I'll prove you. I was getting out, my pen and pad to write another apology letter because I was already writing one to the Trailblazers anyway. And then this week they fall back down to where we initially thought we had them. They actually are, at that 7th spot. What were you going to say there, Irving?
I was just gonna say, like, if I'm brutally honest about it, when I look at the roster they have, I don't know if they lost Shump. I don't know what happened with all that. I know he went to the Jazz. I don't know if he went back or where he's at.
That was blacklisted, but okay.
Okay, yeah. Well, if he's blacklisted, then when I look at that roster, I just see it just reminds me of the LGBA. I see the LGBA when I look at the roster. I see a bunch of LGBA players that are just good enough to play in the EBA and not completely embarrass themselves, but they're like, I guess you could say they have a talented roster if we were in the LGBA right now.
I like Schwug So Fly. I like Clutch King, Ilmatic Titan, Master Quickie. Mr. Leon's no longer on that squad. I know he's moved. But, I mean, I can't disagree, but I can't agree with you either. The LGBA, for those of you who don't know, is the Lesbian Gay Basketball Association. So we keep mentioning that. So that is a different site, different league. Moving to number 6, down 4 spots. The drop of the week is the Pelicans, believe it or not. The Pelicans actually last week only won 2 games out of all of their games. There was a little bit of drama that happened, I think, or not really drama, but a little bit of miscommunication that happened with the owner was out of town. Some situations couldn't be able to make a game. The team was belly flopping without him. And I guess there's some situations with certain players on the team. As I said in the beginning, and I've got it here, learn to lose, ? Problem you run into with a lot of these teams that come into the EBA, especially new owners, and this is not a shot at Dimes, of course, he's a great player. He's money in the bank himself, but you've got guys that put together these amazing squads with their friends, and when they lose, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to lose. They get beat a couple games, and then they just start falling apart. You hear responses like, hey, you going to make it tonight's game? And they say stupid shit like, Prison Break's on. I'm going to watch that. Because they just can't stomach that L. I don't know where it became okay along the way, in gaming even, or anywhere. And again, I'm not a great... I've taken L's. Maybe that's why I'm okay with taking them. I don't like anybody else, but somewhere along the way, it became okay to walk away than take an L. And I don't know where that happened with players, but it seems like it's starting to happen a little bit more this season than it did last season. And I said in the beginning of the show, I had them at number 1 at the beginning of the season. Preseason rankings, I had them at number 1. Last week they fell down to number 2, or first week they fell to number 2. Now they fell all the way down to number 6, which this is not a spot for that roster if you look at who's on that roster. Texas, do you think the Pelicans, and I got learn to lose ? Are struggling with the fact that they just need to learn how to lose a game and then fix it and go back at it?
Yeah, I have to agree because I feel like I want to shout out to Fab, man. I know I've on previous shows I've given Fab a hard time, which I'm not great by any means and nowhere near that level, but I'm giving him a hard time because since he's been away from JT and stuff, he has a win. But we always used to poke at Fab about well, he doesn't know shit about managing the team, or he doesn't know this about it. When JT was on, or JT did everything. But Fab stepped up this week, man. He did a lot of management shit this week when Dimes was away for a while. Dimes had a thing out of town and stuff, and he had to go take care of, which is understandable. But Fab absolutely stepped up and tried to run the team the best as he can without any knowledge of how to do so. So, shout out to him. Shout out for owners that hit him up and group me and stuff like that and helped him. But with that being said, I completely agree, man. I think these guys on this roster are too fucking big headed and think that just because they have a my player that's good, they're fucking good. They come into a real team up league and get their ass beat, and then and that Doms has been here and Fab has been here, and some of these guys have been here before, so they understand how it works. But these guys think that they're good with their my players, and that's excluding the guys I just named because they've been around for a while. But these new guys come in here and think they're good with my players and shit, and think they're gonna do something, and when they don't, they get butthurt and quit because they don't have a 99 3-pointer at the center, or whatever the fuck it is. So I think that's the issue, that they can't learn to lose with dignity, because losing is always going to be an option. We've never had an undefeated team in this league. Under me, we haven't for sure. And I don't see it happening, man. This league is too competitive, and it's getting more and more competitive every season. So people are just gonna have to learn. You're gonna lose a couple, and there's gonna be down weeks, but you got to go ahead with it. And that's why I feel like these my player guys don't convert well to this league, because some of them do, but there's a majority of them that fall off because they can't play without a 99 overall, and that's going to be an issue for all of them that come in here to convert over.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this team, I would put any one of these guys on a star if I owned a team. I mean, Fab, One Wild Walnut, Frito Wavy, Dimes, Eurostep, J-Dub. I know he's struggling a little bit with his defense. He's working it out, but his offensively is solid. Gradient Dig, by any means Mo, and AO, it's Mark. Any one of those guys, if you're looking at that line, like, man, they don't have a whole lot of weak spots there. Recalibrates is also in the team there, but they don't have a whole lot of weak spots. Irving, I mean, what do you think the Pelicans are struggling with right now?
I think I completely disagree with what both of you guys said. Most of these guys on that roster, they play a ton of 2K gods, which is completely team up. They know how to lose. They've lost games before. I think what's happening is you get arguably your best player in Fab, and you put him on Drew Holiday, and he's putting up 7 points per game. I mean, he has 19 assists. That's all good, but you're putting arguably your best player on someone that's irrelevant. No one's scared of him. All he can do is pass the ball. The roster, compared to other rosters that I've seen them have, looks weak to me. It looks like a people that could be good. They're not really that invested into the EBA in general. They're just playing to have fun. They're just trying to get stats. Most of these people just play 2 games.
Quentin's not going to get you stats.
Hold on. So I agree with what you said about them playing in other leagues, and they know how to lose in other leagues and whatever. But most of those leagues, they win constantly in. This is the only league that you can't bring your own 5 to. You actually have to, figure out how to put together a team. And a lot of these guys have played together in many places, and I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. However, Dimes is on a superstar, and he's by far one of the best players on that line. So the only thing I have to say back to what you're saying, I agree with a lot of what you just said, and I'm not saying that they don't know how to lose. But the problem that you're having is, and this is the problem, the reason why they forfeited 3 games this week. Okay, there's no. Right now, with Dimes being out with certain things, there's nobody else other than Fab trying to step up and take the leadership. But he can't gather these guys around because they don't care. They don't take it seriously. They're not playing just to have fun. They don't care even if they show up. Like, literally, this was an excuse. Tonight, the freaking, what was that show that just came? Prison Break is on, and I want to watch it with my buddy, so I'm not going to show up to a game. That was literally an excuse used by someone on the team. What? Like, really? You knew you were scheduled tonight, but you can't TiVo? I mean, You know what I'm saying? Like, record it. You don't got a DVD. You can go online and watch it later. No? Okay. Because they don't take it serious. Because if I'm telling you right now, if this team was sitting where your team is right now with only a couple losses, you would have zero problems. Zero. This team would be oh, we the best, we bad, talk about us, we awesome. And they deserve every right because everybody on this team, I mean, like I said, they have a couple holes, nothing major that you can shoot into this team. Just, they've got two of the best bigs on a 2K team you can talk about. Frito Wavy's solid. One Wild One, that's a solid player. Dimes is great. Eurostep's good. I mean, he's shooting lights out. J-Dub, like I said, he needs to work a little bit on his defense because he gets beat in the paint a bit, but he's still a solid offensive player. Gradient Dig is solid. By any means, Mo, I don't know the situation. These guys just don't want to show up and play. That's the problem. They're having to throw together these half-and-half lines. They got beat by Oklahoma City. Should never, ever happen. Ever. You compare this roster with Oklahoma City's roster, never happened. So you've got Dimes and Fab over there scratching their head going, what the hell? We put together a solid roster. We've got a solid 2K team. What the hell is going on? These guys don't want to play. They're just not showing up and playing. So I would agree with everything you said. They do play team play. I disagree with what Texas was saying. I don't think that they come. I think this group isn't the group that comes in and doesn't know, how to play with not a star or whatever. I disagree with that because they have stars over there. But to argue your point, if you're saying, oh, they're just doing it just to show up, play, that would be completely okay, but they're not. They're not showing up for stats. They're struggling to put together lines on a week-to-week basis. They can't figure out how they're losing, and they can't figure out how to fix it. And I think Fab's best season so far to date at EBA, and I'm not dick riding Fab because, trust me, we have no personal relationship outside of EBA. Fab's best season is when he played point guard with Rajon Rondo or whatever. I think that was his best season because he wasn't looked on to score constantly. However, he has to have the right pieces in place, and he makes everybody around them better. I think this team right now, like I said, I agree with everything you're saying up to the point that you're saying that they're just here to have fun, they're just here to play. They're quitting, dude. They're not showing up, and nobody's going to blacklist their buddy. So Dimes has to come to the point of saying, okay, either I need to step up and go through this roster and just have guys that want to show up and have fun. It's not. This is the problem I have with a lot of people. It doesn't mean anything to you in your personal life if you lose at 2K. If you were bad at 2K, nothing is wrong with it. I don't understand the mentality of people that go, you're bad at 2K, you're bad at life. No, I suck at a video game. When I'm done with my video game, I get in bed with my hot wife. I drive my 2 or 3 cars wherever I want to go. There's things outside of the EBA world. So when they lose, they just can't. They don't know how to. They need to learn how to lose. Like lose and say, we'll get them next time, or we're gonna fix this. Let's talk about it. Those aren't questions that are being answered and asked right now in the Pelicans locker room. That's what I feel. I mean, I could be wrong, Irving. You can come back at me if you like, but that's how I feel is what's going on right now.
I think another problem that both of you guys are having is you're completely overrating this roster. You think the people on this roster are better than they are. J-Dub, that definitely was not Fab's first choice to have on the star big, or Dimes's. Whoever, you know what I mean? These are all like third option players. These aren't the people that they wanted. These are 2K gods people. They don't really care that much about the EBA.
Mm-hmm.
They just play it just to play it. They're not really they don't really care. So you're gonna see forfeits. They're gonna make playoffs. They're a top 4 team in my opinion, but this is a way different team than we're used to seeing. Like
I agree, but I think
the roster isn't that
Walnut
good.
is a solid player. I think Frito Wavy is a solid player. Yeah, you can recalibrates. Yeah, whatever. I mean, you could put Ice the Man there, and it's the same person. It doesn't. I mean, that's doesn't matter. That's bottom. Dimes, you got to give him credit. What's that?
You're putting Fab, you're putting Mo, and you're putting them on Drew, and you're asking them to score you 5 points per game. You're putting 2 of your best players on Drew Holiday, and he can't do anything. So the team, Dimes is a point guard. He's not a center. He's playing DeMarcus. He's not. I don't think he's doing terrible, but I mean, you could debate that was a selfish pick by him, even though they're a solid 2K team. For him to go and play DeMarcus, even though everyone knows he's better at point guard. you could say it was selfish, but their roster just isn't as good as it usually is.
Well,
So
I would
they're
say
going to continue to forfeit.
to me, this
They're
is
gonna lose
definitely
games.
the fall of the Pelicans is the biggest surprise. Maybe I was putting them up too high on a pedestal, but I know speaking with a lot of these guys, they put themselves there as well, and to be losing like they're losing is not acceptable to them in the EBA. So I don't know. I don't know any of these personally or have a personal relationship. Probably Mark is the only one I know from old Mark Dog back in the
You
VFL
know,
days. Go ahead.
you know, you talk about Fab's best season was back on Rondo, but I think that's just I think that's a shout out to the competition level in this league. I think the balance of competition in this league has spread a lot, and I think it's a lot harder to excel. Because whether it's the cap or the actual talent that's in the league now or what it may be, but I think I think the competition in this league is growing. I mean, I think we're getting a lot more competitive teams, like balanced across the league.
That could be the
And
case.
I think that's really gonna impact a lot of these star players. You know what I mean? So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just he had the pieces around him, but I mean he got to pick this team for like he got to go into bidding knowing he was on a team and bid on the guys that they wanted. So I mean it's definitely something to think about. But I definitely think that the Pelicans are definitely playoff contenders. None of us are disputing that. The issue is, can they get it together now? Because you don't want to. I mean, this third week is going to be crucial. If they have another week like they did this week, it's going to really really hurt them.
Yeah, they cannot make it in going, with only 2 wins on the season. They continue that
Absolutely
mentality.
not.
They're definitely, and they're losing to teams they should be blowing out. And that should not be the case with this team. So moving on to number 5, the Rockets, Houston Rockets, up 2 spots from last week, and there was a little bit of drama. So no drama violators will be bitch slapped is what I have. The step up question mark, and the reason why I have the step up is for those of you who don't know, the Houston Rockets owner stepped down. Lewis, who we had on the show on the preseason, stepped down as owner. And I don't think of any other reason other than he said the league is shit and my mom sucks or something like. I don't know exactly everything he said, but he stepped down for whatever
Wow.
reason. He just kind of came at the league. I don't know what. I mean, you talk about the league, whatever, but he came at the league.
Yeah,
and
he was just
he was upset.
he was talking about snakes, and you can take these snakes and have it. I'm done with them. And I mean, the dude was in a pretty good situation. I don't understand his issue. That it was a whole somebody took over ownership, and after they told him they wouldn't play, and But like, we grown ass men here, bro. Don't be a bitch and cry about it and quit out of something that you said to people you're gonna commit to. No respect for that. That's quitting. And I talking to the guy, he was trying to say, oh well, I don't want to quit, but this and this and this and this. Yeah, well, pretty much just saying I don't want to quit, but I'm gonna fucking quit because I want to be a bitch, and I can't handle that shit. People commit to something, you should commit to it, man. I mean, come on, man. Me personally, no matter how bad something is, man, my pride won't let me quit on something. I mean, I gotta stick it out just because. I mean, it's a pride thing, man. You want that on your name, then so be it. And this whole league is a bragging right. I mean, it's a bragging rights league. There's no money involved, no nothing like that. So everything you do here is going to be talked about. And how could you put your name on? You're going to be known for that. Like, everybody here knows you're a quitter now. Like, it's fucked up. And what happens to quitters? Jay Snyder sitting in free agency for 2 fucking weeks, getting picked up for a pity call up. Like, I mean, it's terrible. You don't want to be that. And that's what happens when people quit. It's a damn shame.
Well, the big story here, the Rockets were at 7th. They stayed at 7th even through the EBA Week 1. They did make a jump, minus all the drama, the step up question mark, because G Money stepped up and took this team. I mean, Irving, what do you think about the Rockets, where they're at, and G Money stepping up as owner?
I think G Money was always the true owner of this team. He hit up O. Lewis, told him he wanted to be Harden. He would make his own line. He would help him get other people. Without G stepping up or hitting O. Lewis up, this team would be a bottom team. O. Lewis never really knew what he was doing. This team is basically running off G's back right now. He's making a couple solid trades. I think by the end of it, they'll be a top 3 team.
Yeah, I see them continually rising as well. I agree with what you're saying there. I don't know the situation between him and Lewis. I wasn't part of it. G was on the show last week. I do know this, that to have somebody, and I'm not going off on G or whatever, but to have somebody on your squad that when the owner decides to be a bitch and step down, somebody on your team steps right up very quickly with the response with, yeah, I'll take it, let's go, and run with it, I think is huge to have. I think more owners should do that. I think even looking at the Cavs as we get a little closer talking about the Cavs, that's a huge help for the Cavs having someone like Revolves as GM, and I've said that many times in the past as well, because if Z actually does slip up, you've got somebody to come right in and take over without even missing a beat. And so he doesn't have to show 100%. So I think here, with G Money stepping up, helps his team immensely become a better team.
I want to say I wish I'd sent you a screenshot of me talking to G, because old Lewis stepped down in minutes after old Lewis stepped down. I messaged G, and I messaged him, and I was like, yo, to see if he was online. I was like, yo, and all he responded to me. I said, yo, and he responded, add me to the owners group me. I was like, that's the type of people that make this league awesome, man. Is you can get somebody that, minutes after a guy steps down and just nobody even asks him, I'll take it. Like it's great to see that. For every shithead we have in this fucking league, just one of those may make this league better, because it's hard to find that, and it's hard to find. And I mean, G stepped in, right. He stepped in and took control. I mean, trades, moving people around, making the team what he wants the team to be. So I see this team rising. I see this team being a top 3 team at the end of the season. This team is going to be, they're in better hands, and with the removal of Eastern, with the quitting of Eastern and the quitting of Lewis, the league has better owners now than what they were. With G Money stepping up and Beastie stepping up, they're in better hands now than what they were previously, and the league got stronger because of that, which is hard to say, because when somebody quits, there's a emptiness that we got to fill, and it's really, normally we had to scrape the bottom of the barrel to find somebody to fill that spot. But with a veteran owner like BC stepping up and a veteran management of G stepping up, this is absolutely made the league, I would say, probably about 30% better, 40% better, if not more. We're definitely in better hands now, and I feel like it's going to be a lot more consistent moving on throughout the season.
Well, speaking of the drama, let's walk right into the floor. You've had 3 owners quit in a matter of a week. Like I said, this week has been rather rough. Down 1 spot to the 4th spot is the Jazz, and they've got rebuild 2.0 question mark. So everyone is aware out there, and this is my personal opinion, and I'll toss it around to kind of go with Irving and see what he has to say as well. But my personal opinion is Eastern built a pretty decent roster. Eastern had, from my understanding, Eastern had a job come along. Completely acceptable. So we're all on the same level. Life comes way before the EBA. I mean, you have personal things. We don't pay you to play here. It's anyway. You have personal things that go on, health, life, the jobs, moving, shit like that happens in your life that you have to say, EBA's got to be put on hold. I need to focus on this. And that's completely understandable. And those come out of left field, completely understandable. I have no problem with an owner stepping down because of those issues. However, what I do have a problem with is the total disregard to the league by trying to make stupid-ass trades and move everybody and make the team worse and leave it in worse hands than he found it. That's the problem I have with Eastern, and to me, he's a piece of shit because of it. I have no personal problems with Eastern. I don't hold grudges, but I'm really, next time he ever applies for ownership, you really got to take a look at that and go, okay, is something gonna come up and he's gonna try to screw the league? Because to me, it looked like he was coming at the league. However, Shump stepped up right away. For those of you who don't know, because someone from a different team says, "Yeah, I'll take ownership of that," comes over, takes ownership of the Jazz, loses 3 straight games, 0-3, quits as Jazz owner. Okay. And all the trades and everything that Eastern tried to do got reversed. So he wasn't playing with a shit bottom of team. He was playing with the same Jazz team, other than a couple trades here and there that was requested trade, whatever. Comes over, loses 3 straight games, and quits. Leaves the team again next week, or the same week on a Monday. Leaves the team again with no owner. Which made James, from my understanding, go out and James and his team, his staff team, go out and try to find owners. They were hitting up different people. Who you want to take? Anybody want to take Jazz? Anybody want to take Jazz?
No, they have difference. Hit up one, And when we did this,
Yes.
my first instinct is I jumped on the free agent screen. I was looking through guys. I was like, okay, veteran owner, just looking through trying to see somebody on that's in the free agent, so we ain't gotta take nobody from somebody else's roster. And then Beastie was sitting right there. And I hit up Beastie. I was like, yo, do you want to step in and take this spot, man? I mean, I know it's a sticky situation, but and his response, like, G, put me in there, man. I'll get this shit going. It was his exact words. And that's what I'm talking about, man. I know BC's been he started to be ownership was it 2 seasons ago, I think, and he had to step down in preseason before the season started, so it was, no harm there. But after the teams were selected, he had the Cavs and he stepped down. If you have the Cavs and you step down, then it must be serious. So, we understand that. And for him to step up when we're needed, after he told old Lewis, he don't want to play or whatever in that whole situation, he stepped up to help the league. And for anybody that's wondering, oh, well, he quit to be the owner of the Jazz. No, he did not approach me to be the Jazz. I approached him. So there's nothing to be said about that. Oh, Lewis was just crying because, he felt betrayed. Well, you know what? Be a big boy and handle your business the way a man should. BC stepped up, took over this team, and has done a great fucking job.
He went 3-2 after he took over
him.
the team as a team. So they were 0-3 on the week. He took over, turned around and went 3-2. So came back and won majority of the games, and ended the week pretty decently, only dropping 1 spot as the Jazz with all the drama that's happened. I mean, the team got completely raped, and then certain trades had to go through because people requested trades or trades happen. Shump made some trades happen, kind of left Beastie, I think, in a worse spot, and then Beastie now has worked some other trades. From my understanding, JT is coming to the Jazz. As long as that trade goes through, that's on the rumor block of trades coming through, is JT moving to the Jazz. That's a huge pickup, especially with Hot Shots, I Am Saucin. Those 3 are going to do work on a line. That makes, I think, the Jazz a definite contender. They've got 2-time All-Star Garbage of the Month Ice the Man on the team, which don't come at me because I'm not going to do anything, but I'm still going to show up and play my games. I'm the reliable guy over there. Now I'm on the Jazz. I made a couple trades and moved a couple guys here and there, and now I'm there. I mean, looking at this, Irving, with all the drama that's going on, Rebuild 2.0, I have question mark. I mean, is the Jazz better off now after all the drama and everything's out of the way? Do you think the Jazz will be better off moving forward? Or do you think that the Jazz, still be struggling to catch a 3rd seed or a 2nd seed in that division?
I think they'll be a top 5 team. I don't think they'll be as good as the first week. I thought they were a pretty solid team week 1, even with their losses. I mean, Hotshot was putting up crazy numbers with Gobert. Their team was pretty hard to beat when we played them. So they're kind of a wild card for me. I don't really know where they'll fall. They could be a top 3 team or they could be a bottom 6 team. So they're kind of a team where I can't really guess. It's either way.
Yeah, right now they're sitting at 8-7. 2 games out of that 2nd place with the Portland Trailblazers sitting at 11-5. But being only to drop 1 spot based on all the drama that happened last week, I was concerned putting them as high as we did last week with them losing the only game to Los Angeles Lakers. They're the only team that seems to have their card. And then LA, of course, beat Shump's line as well, which caused them to lose their shit as well. But no drama. Violators will be bitch slapped. I mean, obviously, you put Beastie in charge over here, Texas. Do you think that Rebuild 2.0, that this team's going to be better, stronger, faster, or whatever with Beastie in charge?
I think with Beastie taking over and showing that he knows what he's doing by making trades and getting JT and moving pieces around, I think that definitely shows what he knows about management and ownership, and it shows his experience in this league. So I definitely think they're in a good spot. I heard Eastern quit because of a lot of stuff within the team. I wasn't aware of the whole job situation, but
I was
heard
told
he quit
differently. I could be wrong. So yeah,
he traded somebody, and then a lot of guys didn't like the trade, so they wanted out, and it felt like it was too much for him. But it is what it is. This is where we're at now, and I feel like these guys going forward, if JT and Hotshot and Saucin and these guys get together, man, and they mesh well, there's definitely going to be a problem in Utah. I mean, there already was, so it might definitely be worse. So, I mean, whoever's at the 3, 2, and 1 spot, they better look out.
Well, my sources can be wrong on why Eastern stepped down, but from my understanding, he didn't want to leave his friends on a team, so he put his friends and his whatever relationship with the guys he had on Utah ahead of everybody else and made moves, shitty, crazy moves that I can't even believe that went through as trades, and then just to walk away and make the team worse. But moving on to number 3 spot, we have Rise of the King. Now, last week I said the Fall of the King because King Mizark was falling pretty quickly in the numbers. However, that shows how a week can change things. They were down to 5 last week. They're now up. I've only got up 1, but that is not the case. They're actually up 3 to. They're one of the highest risings right now. The New York Knicks is back up to the 3rd spot. Rise of the King, looking at them over there, they jumped quickly into that top spot. Now they're 10-6. So they had a really good week last week. Do you think that'll continue there, Irving? Do you think New York will continue to hold that top spot?
Yeah, I believe by the end of it they'll be the second best team. Their roster, they got a lot of the players they wanted. Too Cool's doing a great job over there. Majestic, Miz, all of them. They got the main pieces. So I think they'll be a top team.
Yeah, I heard Majestic said I wanted ice, and then he said, "Are you kidding me?" So
Yeah,
so
I
they
saw that.
someone sent me that, and I was like, "Oh, that's great." So good shot, kid. Keep it up because you're at 10-6. Looking at this Texas Rise of the King is now that he took the first spot in the Eastern Conference. Do you think he can hold on to it?
I do, man. I played those guys the other night. We played it with a patch line, you know. I mean, it's whatever, but that defense is legit as fuck over there. I mean, you got Ra Ra the Boom and Too Cool, and both of those guys were up for Defensive Player of the Year when G won it. So I mean, that shows that their knowledge on defense and their experience with this game is top notch. They're definitely a powerhouse defensive team. You know, with Too Cool playing Porzingis, that's some serious work he's putting in over there, and I definitely agree with Irvin, and I believe they'll finish number 2 on the season.
Well, so moving on to the second spot right now, who currently holds it, is the Portland Trailblazers, and I have just Blaze question mark, which should be more of an exclamation mark because they are just blazing up 2 spots from where they were last week at number 4. Now they're at number 2. I again I had them not even anywhere near this, and again, it was a lot of question marks from guys I just didn't know. Looking at the roster, we had them in preseason at number 9. Last week, I started pulling out my pen and paper and saying, man, these guys continue to climb because they beat a lot of good teams, and now they are setting easily in that second spot comfortably behind the Cavaliers at 11-5. 1 game in front at that second spot in the total division here, or the total league. They're looking like a solid team. Texas, I mean, just blaze. Are they going to blaze their way right into the playoffs and then maybe give Cleveland a run for their money?
You know, it was definitely surprising to see Rush do as good as he's been doing because, you know, he's a new owner. You know what I mean? He did a great job in his interview. He's you know, his paperwork's top notch. You know what I mean? The guy is he's doing a great job, man. It's really surprising to have him step in as a new owner and just take off like he does. You know, I know he has Shadows as his GM, and that's something that could really help him because, you know, with the weakness in bigs over there, having a dominant big man is something good to have. So I'm really surprised on what Rush is doing. Do I think he'll make the playoffs? Absolutely. Do I think he'll compete with the Cavs? I don't know. I think that you would have to have a really good Clippers team to a good Clippers team to compete with the Cavs. I don't know if now if the Blazers had Ed Davis and those guys, and yeah, you know, I think they could compete. I just don't think that the Blazers are fast enough to compete with the Cavaliers. Now his roster, I believe, can. I think his roster, player to player, I think they could compete, but um, with the team, it'll be tough. It'll definitely be tough.
Yeah, like I said, I think Portland, I totally owe them an apology. Rutsch, all those guys, Shadows, Don't Hate on Me, 317, Kobe the Great, Dirty South. Well, all those guys, yes sir. Those guys are all solid players, and they're doing really well at 11 mil cap. Still have a little bit of room to make some moves if they need to before the next couple days. But I don't really know if they need to. I mean, they've only lost 5 games on the season. They continue to show up, play their games, and single-handedly put work in. Do you feel, Irving, that the Portland Trailblazers can compete?
I mean, I know they'll compete, but I think they're super overrated as a team. I don't think the roster is that good. I don't know who they're beating because when we play him, it's terrible. Rushes is one of the worst Lillards I've ever seen. I think he's really good at left riding, which hasn't really been relevant since like 2K15. I don't really see this team really being a factor. I think the Knicks are better. I think a lot of teams are better than them.
So you think head-to-head that your team will crush this team?
Yeah, head to head, I don't believe they have a chance to win a game. I think we sweep them in a series. I think even if we had a worse team, I still feel like I feel like our roster is just way better than theirs. I don't know who they're beating. I just don't see where it's at. I don't know.
Beating solid teams. I mean, they're beating everybody underneath them. They've only lost 5 games. You guys have only lost 2. I mean, they've been this season. They've been the sleeper in my eyes, as I've never been so far off on anybody. And I look back even. I went back and did season. I think it was 3 when I first started doing EBA Tonight, and I started looking at my preseason rankings or my week-to-week rankings, and I've never been that far off on anybody than I was on the Trailblazers. I completely misjudged them. And I said the same thing you said. I was like, well, their roster looks okay, but with the players they have on the EBA and who they have playing those positions, I don't know if they can compete at a high level. Completely wrong. Completely foot in mouth. Do you think that you guys might be misjudging them a bit, and they might be coming for your head now?
They remind me a lot of the Thunder, actually. The way their roster is built. King Habit reminds me a lot of Mike Mann. He's their best player on that team. But Rushes, he kind of reminds me of Melo. They have the star. They're not really producing like they should, so they're losing games. I mean, Rushes might be winning games, but all I can go by is when I played them, because I haven't seen them play anyone else. When I play them, it's just they look like a low tier team to me.
Okay, I have to pull this up because that was a straight cold shot at Rush, so I have to pull this up to see. I pulled up, it's Rush. Let me pull up his stats right here, his career totals and averages right here. Currently, he is averaging 21 points a game, 11 assists, and he's only averaging about 15 shots a game. I don't know where he's playing. I'm assuming he's playing on the 1, I'm assuming. Right?
Yeah.
I'm pulling up Dog Ass Mellows, which is another player here that you just compared him to. He is 25 points, averaging 11 assists. So they do have very comparative, you're right, very comparative numbers. A little better shooting percentages, Dog Ass Mellow, although it looks like he's only played 3 games. I don't know why Dog Ass Mellow's missing games here, but it looks like he's only played 3 games. And he's played his 6, or looks like 3, 4, 5 over here in Portland. So 5 versus 3, give or take, whatever. But they are averaging pretty weather stats. So your assessment, if you're comparing him, I guess, would be right on. But one does have arguably one of the best point guards ever to play the game in Oklahoma versus Lillard, which is a 2K glitch, but some people don't know how to play on him. So I'll give you that. I just wanted to pull it up and see if I was fact checking. We need one of those to see if your legit shot is correct. So
their team is very similar to the way Mike Mann builds his teams. He gets a lot of role players. He gets 2 players that he thinks can carry games, himself, and then I guess it's Melo now for the past 2 seasons at least. But both teams, they have really good, decent point guards, like user-wise playing, and they have a bunch of role players in other positions, and I just don't see Rushes. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hating on Rushes. Just when I played him, it was so like the offense ran so slowly. It was just kind of embarrassing.
Well, and I could be 2 weeks high.
He couldn't even
Go ahead.
He couldn't even attempt a three.
Well,
He's got Lillard. He's got one of the best point guards in the game. He just really didn't show me anything from when I played him.
Yeah, I could be only 2 weeks high here, running off of the Trailblazers because I feel so bad for ranking them so low and then them proving me wrong and being at number 2. I've never had a team do that to me. So I could be riding the high right now and just blazing, but I don't think I would underestimate that team. Just saying. They've proven me wrong. I think in a 7-game series, I can see them giving you guys a run for the money. However, right now, you guys are the number 1 team, which I have a hype for you. Since you're the man of the hour and you're the guy that's coming, I did have this.
Exclusive. Go! Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
So, all the way up, the Cleveland Cavaliers setting really pretty at that number 1 spot. Same place they put 1. I had you guys at 2, and a lot of people told me I was insane to have you guys that high. But looking through your roster, when we went roster by roster, we thought, man, this is a pretty good, solid little squad. They do have the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is by far, I think, the number 1 unless you put a good squad with the Clippers. But the number 1, the next pick behind the Warriors, crown the king with a question mark. I mean, Texas James, you said this before and you were wrong, but do you want to give those guys the crowns 2 weeks into the season? Do you think they're that good? They've only lost 2 games, I believe, total.
It's definitely impressive to see what they've done. I've looked at Revolve stats and Irving here, man, and they've been balling. So you know what? I mean, I think I'll go out and say, yeah, you know what? Crown them. They fucking killing it. I don't see why they couldn't. The way they've been playing, I'm honestly surprised at how they've done so well. But man, I mean, these stats ain't lying, bro. They deserve all the recognition they're getting right now. They're absolutely killing out there.
Well, as I mentioned before the show, I'm gonna stir the pot because that's what I do. That's my job as host. As I mentioned before the show, you removed yourself from Crow's teat because that's what's been said many times on this show by my co-host. And that without Crow, you're nothing, and all you do is feed him. So I'm gonna stir the pot a bit. Now going to Irvin. Of course, you're gonna tell me your team deserves to be number 1. Of course, you're gonna tell me that your team can whoop every other team out there and has proven to do so other than twice. But tell me, I mean, is it because you have Irving, or is it because you're just that good, or is Crow playing on your controller? I mean, tell me what happened to make you remove yourself from Crow's teat, and you'll be able to play as good as you've been playing.
Yeah, this isn't that big of a deal to me because, like I said, I've already done this on Curry. The Warriors season, I guess people thought Crow was carrying me on KD when I was the one averaging 30 points, 10 assists in the playoffs. If you give me a star point guard, I'm gonna give you 35 at least consistently. I played other leagues with Kyrie. I kind of just know how to play with him. So you can't really. It's not like it's kind of just a containing thing when it comes to me. You can't really shut me down. You just got to contain me.
Now, would you put yourself,
it seems...
talking about all the other point guards in the league, would you put yourself in the talks of the top point guards in the league? I mean, would you say you're right
as
there
of
with
right
them?
now, or?
Well, I mean, as of arguably the best point guards. I mean, so for instance, you take somebody, and I've said this a few times, and there's a lot of people out there that are like this. You take somebody that normally does what he does in a system, and you take them out of that system and you give them a shot on an all-star or a superstar. I've never played with anybody over an 80 my entire EBA career. I'm not saying I would blow up and have a great... I'm not saying that. I still make stupid mistakes, and I still, I do what I do in order to win the game. But other people out there I know of that are playing on 74 overalls, you give them a 88, 89 player that moves like Irving, can dunk like Irving, can shoot like Irving, and all of a sudden they surprise you? Are you just a flash in the pan show out because you're compared Steph Curry to now Irving, but realistically speaking, those are two arguably top point guards to play with on a 2K. I mean, you have those two up there when you're talking about it. They're really great point guards. So, I mean, are you a flash in the pan? I mean, your career averages show 18 points. You're blowing that out this season. And I'm talking about your entire career. Your career points are 18.65. This season, you're averaging 36.5. So is it just a fluke season because of who you have and who you is in there? King Mizark says Bebe is the only. I was trying to read that and it went away. Let me pull that up. King Mizark sends in, and whenever the king talks, no, I'm just kidding. We're not that high up on him. He says Bebe is the only good player on the Cavs. If they beat us in a series, I'll retire from EBA. # back to back. Wow. So he totally said if he meets you in the finals, it's going there. But we won't go there just yet. You can respond to him separately. My question was, are you a flash in a pan season because you're having a good season here? Your other good arguable season is with Steph Curry. So, I mean, do you have to have a superstar to perform at this level?
I don't believe I need a superstar. I think I need a decent point guard. I mean, if you give me someone like Mike Conley, I'm not going to carry the team and drop 25 a game. But if you give me a decent point guard that has a shot, I can give you 20 plus. What it really comes down to is Crow. He kind of held me back. I mean, all those seasons, 2K16, he played LeBron. He ran the offense 100% of the game with LeBron. I was like a spot up. I was a spot up player with Kyrie. People forget my first season in the league, I played Corver. I averaged 28 with Corver. It's ever since I started playing with Crow, I won more games. I won a ring with him, but my stats just look terrible because I was more of a spotter role. But if you give me a decent point guard, I can carry a team. I believe that, and I believe I'm doing that now.
Do you think arguably you're one of the best point guards in the league? Like, if you start talking about point guards overall, you believe you're one of the top point guards? I believe your name should be in there.
Yes, I should be top 3.
Top 3 point guards of the entire league.
Wow.
And the EBA should be top 3. This season, I'm the best. There's no debating that.
Wow.
Okay.
Shots thrown. 36 points, 12 assists.
At this point, I have my sights on. I'm going for the MVP because I truly believe that I'm good enough, and I think I can win the MVP. So that's winning for my team is first, but I definitely have my eyes on the MVP.
I think you can win the MVP this season. Looking, like I said, at your overall seasons played and looking at everything, I don't know if I could put you there as the top 3 yet. And that's just me, me personally, which my opinion matters or doesn't give two shits one way or the other to you. But I don't know if I mean you have a lot of points. This is 1370.
This is where I stand on this, and everybody that's watched the show knows how the beef I've had with you in the past, which it is what it is. But I feel like this is the type of point guard right here that's you. I've seen you play on Conley. I played against you on Conley. I played against you on Curry. I feel like Irvin is the guy that is gonna get you that MVP for you. I mean, you're gonna do it. Don't get me wrong, and it's not taking it against you, but I feel that with the smooth crossovers, the crossover screen, cheese. You can call it cheese if you will, but it works. Do that.
No, you called it cheese, not him calling it cheese. You called it cheese.
Okay, well, it's fucking cheese. Whatever.
Okay. Yeah, all right, good.
Anyway, I feel like it fits you perfect just because of the smooth crossover ability of what Irvin can do, and I feel like James Harden has that as well. I feel like as long as you have that, I mean, in all honesty, yeah. I mean, if you get a player like that, then yeah, you'll compete as a top point guard league with those players. Like I don't know how that would work on another point guard because I mean you're going from Curry to Irvin, and I mean, don't get it twisted. You're doing your damn thing, and nobody can take that from you. And in my opinion, you're a front runner for MVP right now. So yeah, I mean, hats off to you, but to be a top point guard in this league, I feel like you gotta feel. I mean, you gotta play with. I mean, you gotta feel a role at another player as well. Sorry, I was reading what Revolve said.
They're all fucking blowing me up. Your whole locker room right now is blowing me up, dude. Baby, I've never had this much activity from the Xbox community or the EBA community from what you just said on my stream anyway. Post Kobe says my screens are the real MVP, or the MVP is what he says. And you have your guy like Exclusive Return of the King is saying question mark, carrying the team question mark. So I mean, I know that you have to have, in order to be one of the top players in the league, you have to have this I'm the greatest mentality, right? That's why I'll never be anywhere near discussed as because I don't have that mentality. I have the mentality, I do what it takes to win. I'm not the best player, not even close. So speaking with you, this like feeling that you're getting, you he gets carried. Anyway, your locker room's blowing up right now. They feel, from just reading what they've said, that you're playing really good at your position. I'm sure this is what they mean to say, and that they want you to continue at that position. But right now, you carrying the team or being one of the best, your stats are great, man. But are you, like I said, do you feel you're a flash in the pan? Of course, you said no. Do you feel you can compete with any other player? You said you did it with Steph Curry. That's not. If people don't, I mean, if they put me on Steph Curry, I think I would retire if I didn't put at least 25 points a game up. I would just walk off. I couldn't do it. And I'm garbage. So I think any player that's playing at that level or playing a superstar like that has to play at that level. I think you're doing great with Irving. Would you say, even though your name, you changed it to Irving, would you say this is your swan, I guess, song, or your not really a goodbye, but this is the right player for the right person? I mean, would you agree more with that? Like, you feel this is your favorite player?
I feel like I'm definitely the best Kyrie in the league. I can say that with confidence. I don't think anyone can do what I do with Kyrie consistently. I feel like if you give me I mean, you see what Fab is doing with Drew Holiday. I mean, you give someone a bad point guard. I mean, I could probably get you 10 points, 15 assists. You can't really give anyone a bad point guard and expect them to put up great numbers. It's just not going to happen.
No, but also,
I went in,
as I said, Fab, I think you used him as an excuse. You brought him up. I think that Fab is a true point guard to me, and I argue this all the time with Texas because we disagree on certain things and pre-show and we talk about it. But I think a true good point guard, if you're talking top point guard in the league, isn't about himself. Doesn't hold the ball 99% of the time. He makes everybody around him better. One of the best seasons I had was when I played with Fab on his line, because he continue to push it to the right person, hit the right person open, help, make me better as a player, see me when I'm open, those types of things. Because and I'm not just saying me, I'm saying anybody on the court.
If that's the case, if that's necessarily the case, then I want to take a second and when I see point guards play, the point guard I see make his whole team the best, and I picture Majestic, man. Majestic, when he goes out on the floor, every player on the floor can be hit at any moment, but just because his court vision is absolutely insane.
And I would argue
he's always at the top of the league in assists. He's an absolute goon with his vision and his dimes, man. It's remarkable to see. And when you talk about making people better, that's the guy that I see that does that.
No, I wouldn't argue with you. I think Majestic's one of the better point guards I've played with, and I've told him that. I mean, even when he takes a bad shot, I'm like, good shot, son, good shot, kid, because I think that Majestic is a good player. I've also played with King Mizar. I think he's a good point guard. I don't know if I would put those guys in the top three. Just like no offense to Irving, I've never played with you, so I don't know if you're really a top 3 point guard or you're just having a really good season with. Bottom line is, this year you're arguably MVP race top point guard in the league right now. I mean, by your statistics. I'm just going straight statistics, and so you can hold that title and you move forward. So after I'm done beating you up, I do agree with you that right now you can stand on what you've accomplished thus far this season, and there's still 2 weeks left, but you can definitely say that, name another point guard out there that's averaging the points that I'm averaging and winning the games that I'm winning. And even as a team, and you can arguably say you're a top 3 point guard based on
feel
these
like
last
the points
8 games.
The points are, I mean, that's what will flash to you, but I'm averaging the second most assists in the league.
I agree. No, that's
Behind
what flashes.
Fab.
No. That, just so you're clear, that's what flashes to me. That's why I can sit here and say you have a right to stand up and say that right now. You can say right now in the league, based on my statistics, I'm a top whatever. But as in saying as EBA, I'm a top point guard. If I'm picking a team and I get a fantasy draft and I got first pick on this draft, I don't think you'd be my first choice. I don't think Fab would be my first choice, to be honest with you. It depends on what point guard I have and what he's going to play. He wants me to ask Bebe yes or no if he's carrying the team once more. Did you say you were carrying the team? I don't know. That's what Revolves wants me to ask you.
Like I said, I go back to the Warriors season.
Mm-hmm.
Carried them. I'm the reason we won the ring. I've been said that. I'm gonna stick by that. I'm the reason the Warriors won that ring. And if we win the ring this season, and I'm averaging anywhere near what I'm averaging right now, then yeah, I'll say with confidence that I feel like I
Bro,
was the
you need
reason
to
we
stop
made it.
hanging out with Kuro.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so right now you are leading the league in points with 292 out of this season, which is awesome. That's a great. You are just so we're clear, you're third in assists, 102, Majestic's 131, Fab is 166. So I mean, steals, the Fab's leading 39 points. The Return of the Kings got more steals at 26. Defensively side of things looks like, he needs to be, and that's good. Like I said, to be a top player, you have to have that attitude like I'm the best on the court, and I understand that. So I'm not hating on you because of it. I think your statistics this season can put you in an argument of a top 3 point guard right now with the rebound, with the assists and points you're putting up. Are you carrying your team? I've seen some other statistics that disagree with that, but bottom line is, Irving, you're the man. I think actually you're the player of the week this week, if I'm correct. James, let's jump right to the next slide because we're running out of time. Player of the week for, I don't even know what division. He's in the West. That's right. We screwed up everything this year. He's in the West, so
that is correct.
The player of the week is
Western player of the week is Irving, aka Bebe, aka he says if we win a championship, it's all me.
Oh,
he's definitely the player of the week, hands down. He's accomplished a lot this season. Points, assists. You gonna pull up the stats on your screen there, Ice?
I did not, but I can if you would like me to. I can pull that.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well show them. I mean, I have it up here. I mean, I can read it off, but I mean, it's he's average. He got 292 points on the season. Which is absolutely insane. But coming for this week, I know that I think what'd you say, Irvin? You averaged like 36 points, I think is what you said.
36 and a half, yep. So 37 roughly
Yeah.
points and about 13 rebounds a game. Defensive side, like I said, probably needs work on. He's got really good turnover ratio for a game. It probably, it's going to happen at point guard. I know mine would be like 15, so I play point guard a few times. So that's really good. So 4, I mean, is up there. You're averaging about 23 shots a game, and you're putting about 15 in. So, I mean, the fact that like I said, you're doing really good this season. And in your last 4 games, I think you put up 43 points in your game is what it shows here on the 3rd of this month. 43 points and 15 assists, which is solid, man. But I think also to be a top point guard, both sides of the ball, you should definitely continue to work on. But I mean, arguably, dude, you can't argue with statistics. And right now, you are player of the week this week.
About the defense, I make sure every game that I match myself. We play man, and I always match myself up on the best player. So I play G, I match myself up on him. I play Majestic, I put Kyrie on Melo. I play defense on the best players on the team every game, the best wing player. So
catch Irving.
If I don't have many steals,
that's
a throwaway stat to me.
Yeah, that's crazy because that's crazy to know that you do that because I've never seen you in a man because Crow can't play man, so they always go to the zone, and that's crazy that you're actually doing
Why
that.
are you
Hats
talking
off
about
to that because
first of all, you brought up Crow.
I
gotta give a shout out to, I don't know if anybody listened to the breakdown, but you brought him up. Fuck that guy. I was just bringing him up as the point of, as you kept saying he was sucking on his tit, and he's actually doing well this season. So I was trying to create drama, but you didn't let me create drama. So
I'm just saying that
but
for him to not
you-
run man in like 3 seasons, and
Yeah.
for him to come in here and play man up on the star player of every team on the wing is impressive to do when you're not used to doing that.
All I gotta say
That's
is
all I'm saying.
Cavs continue to get carried. Irving is here as Player of the Week. Let's talk about Western Player of the Week. Enough about Irving. His head's already big enough. He's did great. He's doing
Facts.
wonderful this season. Congratulations, Irvings, on your wonderful season thus far. I do hope it continues, or your whole team falls apart and lets the Jazz take first place. Either or, I don't care how you want to play it. So, who is the Western or the Eastern, I guess, Eastern Player of the Week?
Actually, we had a surprise Eastern Player of the Week, and that is Too Cool from the Knicks.
All right, do work,
Too
kid.
Cool. Pull up his. You want to pull up his stats?
I'm pulling them up now.
Just
I just
show
have to
everybody.
go to the grab it real
Okay.
quick. Here we go. All right,
Alright.
Too Cool.
Well, I'll run through while you grab it. Too Cool on the week is his 4 games on the week. He had 29 points, 26 points, 23 points, and 27 points. To match in rebounds, he had 23 rebounds, 14 rebounds, 13 rebounds, and 16 rebounds. And on Monday night, he had a triple-double to match. So with assists. And the man is absolute killing it. He's been runner-up, defensive MVP. I mean, he's playing on Porzingis, which we all know is a scoring machine. So there's no surprise that this man is up here and for the Player of the Week. So shout out to him. Dude knows what he's doing, man, and the Knicks are looking up. Shout out to King Miz, man, doing this thing again.
8. He's looking pretty sick over here. He is running. They're running the East right now, so no better. I definitely jump on Too Cool's back and let him do his thing on Porzingis. I mean, the fact he had a triple-double, 29, 23, 10, I think that makes him player. I don't think there's another Player of the Week that pulled those kind of statistics out. So congratulations on Player of the Week, Too Cool. And we share a ring together, me and Too Cool. We're cool like that. So moving on to new beginnings, trade rumors, and moves. We've already discussed some moves. We'll go over them very quickly. I know I was traded to the Utah for... Who was Utah traded for me? Somebody way better than me, I'm sure. Jersey Illist. So I think Jersey Illist is coming to Oklahoma City. I'm going to Utah. That's the rumor. It's not finalized. I'm just throwing out rumors and moves here. The trade deadline, EBA this season, because every season it depends on whoever's doing the trade, they decided to do Friday at midnight as the trade deadline. So there's still some moves that can happen. From what I know anyway, that's the movement there. I know there was some players that put in trade requests. I do know JT is moving to Utah, last I heard. And I'm not sure who they're getting in
Let's
return.
get it, boy.
CW
is going to the Rockets.
Oh, let's get it, boy, to the Rockets. That makes that team a little more scarier, I will tell you.
Indeed.
So, especially with GMB Stunna, dude, they picked up the power forward of the year. How did he
set
in the freaking? How did he sit there that long? I would be mad if I was him. Coming off a season, I got power forward of the year, and I'm not worth $500K. But you pick up some other garbage people, me included, for $500K. I would be mad if I was that kid. So the GMB Stunna is picked up. Of course, that's a move. Any other moves that we know about? What else do we know about here?
Call Me Kyle's going to the Jazz. Mr. Leon's going to the Clippers.
Call Me Kyle is on the Jazz. Is he leaving the Jazz and going somewhere?
I mean, he's going to the Clippers. I'm sorry.
To the Clippers. Call Me Kyle's going to the Clippers.
And Mr. Leon's going to the Jazz. My bad. I had that backwards. Sorry.
I think that was a forced Kyle, I think, put in a trade request. Is that why he had to? There's going to be some weird moves this last week because a lot of the players trade requests, and it's the last chance for them to move them from the team.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some weird, why did that happen trades, but that's going to be based on the fact that they want it out, and they're just trying to find something for them that at least can show up. And that's not a knock on Mr. Leon. I'm glad to be his teammate in Utah, but that's one of those, I think.
Let's see. It's the Boss is going to the Rockets, and for It's LaCure Fu. I mean, anybody y'all know who that is? I don't know.
Yeah, he plays a lot of 2K guys. He's consistently been pretty bad.
Okay, well,
I was not expecting that. I thought he was like, oh, he's consistently pretty good. No,
so
he's
it's
consistently
Lakir
shit.
Fu
You
is
know, it's
going
cool.
where?
He's going to the Clippers, and
Clips.
it's the boss is going to the Rockets.
Oh, damn, that team makes it a little stronger there. It's the boss, I think, is
Man,
a
they're
solid
getting
player.
G's
That's-
doing his thing, man. G is doing his thing. Let's see who else. Who else getting shopped?
I heard that they're shopping
know,
Irving
let's get
right
a
now. I
voice
heard is what
going.
they heard. I don't know if that's the case, but I heard just from comments that they're shopping Irving right now to move him to try to see if he can carry some other team. I'm just joking. I don't know if that's the case. I'm just being a smart ass.
If that's what it comes down to, I guess I'll have to make it happen for another team.
Oh, make it happen. I don't know. You're doing work there. I don't know if moving you at this time. The whole team is doing real well. The whole team is pulling off a really solid. Like I said, I had you guys in the
Revolves
second.
is doing his thing.
Overall,
Exclusive is definitely. All
exclusive.
jokes aside, I
Return
can
of the
say I'm
King.
carrying all that, but Revolves and Return of the King are definitely doing what they have to do. We have the same record. We both lost one game. So I'm definitely not carrying the team, but
But which line lost to the Clippers? What was your second loss? One was to the Clippers. The other one
we
was.
lost to G and the Rockets,
Oh,
and
okay,
then
so-
they lost to the Clippers.
So
week
their
one, I
line
think.
is worse, is what you're trying to say, because they lost to the Clippers. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I believe I believe their line's worse, but not by much. And I think their line is better than almost every line in the league.
Oh, I'm just sitting back here
No-
stirring the pot, right?
no
Like I'm just sitting back
hesitation.
here.
No
I'm feeding him.
hesitation.
I'm feeding him, James. I'm just sitting here feeding him these lines, and he's like, "Yeah, you're right." I'm the bad at it.
hesitation.
And
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah, we're better.
Nobody
Yeah.
else does that to me. That's I like Irving's got to come back sometime here when he wins his ring. Maybe come back after that if he can win it this season and
Of
rub
course,
it in your
man.
face
I'll
a
come
little
back.
bit.
Invite me back. I'll come back, man.
Rub it in your face the fact that he did it without Crow, so he don't need nobody's teeth.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man.
Um,
Hey, I don't have nothing to say about that, man. If he does, he does it, man. I mean, the dude's balling. They number one in the league right now.
Let me,
You can
since
do
we're
it.
on trade rumors, let me ask the commish a question. This is completely different. I heard, and this is just through the grapevine, and I don't know because just so everyone aware, the commish and his staff, based on the season or based on the regime, I say, have certain like guidelines and rules that they follow. And it's not handed down from me or Mags. It's not handed down from the VPLO. They decide how they want the season to run because they're the commissioner and staff. So with that being said, I have a question. I heard today, in a party somewhere yesterday, whatever, that if a trade happens, so for instance, let's say, I don't know, someone trades for somebody, it doesn't matter. Let's say you get traded for, right? That owner cannot move you again that same week. Is that a true statement?
We were originally going to do that. We were originally going to do that, just because of the fact that in the previous we've done where we don't want people to know about them being traded, and because of the whole we don't want them throwing games or any of that nonsense.
Uh-huh.
But we came together as staff and talked about it. We've seen a lot of people talking about doing that, and a lot of owners seem to be wanting to do that. So came together as staff, and we was like, I mean, it's been a crazy week. We've taken days away from this week and moving stuff around. So it was like, let's just let it happen. It's the last week, so they are allowed to do that.
Do you left it used to be that it went from no, you can't do that. I remember it went from yeah, that's acceptable to okay, it's acceptable if the other team knows about it. So for instance, let's say I had a trade with Mike Mann and also had a trade with King Mizark for you. So I traded for you and then I traded you for, I don't know, let's say Majestic. And then I have to let Mike Mann know that I'm using you to get Majestic, because if he just wants Majestic, he can just make that trade happen directly and skip me as the middleman. That's the way it went from that third person shouldn't know to you have to turn it in as a 3-person trade. I remember during the Return of the King's time, it went from, yeah, it doesn't matter if they know or not, you can move them 6 times during the same week, to, oh yeah, it has to be included.
Yeah, that's how it is.
To now it's...
That's how it is. Right
oh,
now.
so now it's back to that. Because I know there was a point, I think last season it was a no. So now it's a free-for-all.
Yeah, last
Okay.
season it was a no. Last season was a no. And we were approached about it this season, and we talked about it. Talk to realists because it can get messy, man. It could get real messy with that.
I know.
Trying to follow and where it could go. So, and we're real short-handed. So, talk to realists, and I talked to Woody and made sure that we were okay with doing that because it could get real messy real quick. And everybody's willing to pick up the extra weight and let these owners do what they want to do to make their team better and make sure they have the best team moving forward past the trade deadline. And we want that for every owner. So that's what we're doing. Realist is being being a savage, being able to take that on and do that for these guys. So I know y'all don't realize how much work he has to do and how many trades that we go through every week and have to look through and make sure the money's right and do all that. And Realist is really stepping up and doing a great job on that because that's very difficult and y'all don't even understand. So for him to be like, you know what, let's just do it. And Woody agrees, and I agree, and so we're diving straight into it, short-handed. So I just want y'all to appreciate that these guys are working their ass off for that, man. But
So
yeah,
they have
it's a free for all.
12 hours, and you can already trade somebody who already agreed on a trade, right? So you can move multiple people, multiple. Okay, I just wanted to check because the question was asked to me and I wasn't sure, and I said I'd bring it up. I want to make sure that all owners are well aware of that. That yes, you can make multiple trades based on who you have on your roster. So trade rumors done. Steals and deals. Looking at the real quick here. Let's go over. Did you hear about any trades there, Irving? You don't know of any trades that's going on? You heard anything?
Nothing except the let's get a boy to the Rockets. That's the only one I knew.
I didn't know that one, so that's awesome that you had that one. I was not aware of that, but that's a great trade for G and those guys.
Very good
Opening up steals and deals. I just want to say, I called this shit. Black Mama's in the free agency. Surprise, surprise, he fucking quit. What a fucking surprise. Now, do I know shit? Like, I know what the fuck I'm talking about some shit, just a little bit of stuff, but I know some things, And I hit it on the head, man. I told the garbage right away that the dude is known for quitting. So it's definitely not a surprise, man. I just want to say that.
Are we at the point here to where we're going to start adding some late signups, or we're not there yet? I don't know.
Not yet. Not yet. We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
So looking at this list here, Apple Danish, Army Vet Steve, Defective Lego is a hockey guy, but I don't know how well he plays basketball. I know that Canada has one team up there, so maybe he plays really good basketball. Nobody gave him a shot yet. Anybody on this list that really stick out to you? For me, it's Palm Tiger. I think is still a really good player. He could be starting somewhere as power forward. Some guys that I would say to give a shot to is Packers 12 to 85. I know he's not the greatest player, but he is active and ready to go. MC Sticks is still there. I think is a solid player as well. Sorcy, I'm surprised Sorcy's still sitting in a small forward. Why do you think Sorcy's still there?
I think he got a bad rep from Coro, but he was on our team last season, and the dude was pretty chill. Sometimes he has a problem, like he plays other leagues, and he wants to put them ahead, so maybe that's why. But as of his attitude, he was pretty chill when he played for us last season.
He plays high a lot.
Is that the problem?
Indeed.
He plays high a lot.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
Either he's really high on weed, or it's either weed or lean every time. So, and you can't really give him a star, because if you give him a star, he needs the ball. If he's not getting the ball, he's gonna complain about it. He's kind of what you would call a cancer to a team.
That's what I've heard.
Team morale down.
But I've also heard from the opposite side that he can play. He's a cool, chill guy that he can play any position.
He's a cool guy in a party, but when he gets into games, nobody wants to play with that. You would have to play a game with him to see what people mean.
I agree,
That's
G.
Why he's in the
I
teams.
agree. Defeat you 44 power forward. He's not a bad player. I mean, he owned his team. Yeah, I know who it was, G, but I agree with that. Kuznara, I don't know. Is there anybody else on here that really sticks out to you? I don't know of anybody that is definitely a steal or a deal. BC All Day's decent. He was 2.5 mil. I don't know why he's sitting down there at that 2.5 mil. One thing I see some people dropping guys that should be blacklisted. Blacklist is different than drop. Just blacklist their fucking ass. Because if they go to another team or another team tries to pick them up and they refuse to go to another team, they need to be blacklisted. That's the only way that this free agent thing will work. It won't work if you're sending down your buddy. That won't work that way, because somebody else is going to get stuck with them, and he doesn't want to play for them either, and he's going to be blacklisted because the other guy's not going to do it. So save the freaking long ass paperwork and bullshit and just blacklist him instead of trying to send him down to slide him under the radar. Hashtag Black Mamba. Anybody else out here steals and deals that you can think of? It's getting rather low. As you say, it's about time to start adding some, or no?
No, not yet. We got. I mean, you need some guys, man. Silent Shot, man. He subbed in for us one game, did really well. Shout out to him. Apple Danish, man. He's really active. If y'all need an active guy, man, he can really play around. I'm not saying he's the greatest ever, but that's my boy, and he's active. He can play open schedule. So if you need a guy there, he can play. I heard Finn's up is being a bitch boy, and he's had issues with O. Lewis, but apparently everybody has issues with him. Let's see who else we got in here. Defeat you still in there? I think you said that.
Yep, he'll show up and play for you. He's a solid person.
Yep.
Solid player. I think that's it with the free agency. I can't really. I just showed
MC
it on there.
Sticks. MC Sticks is in the free agency. I don't know what the deal is with that. He got sent down by the Lakers.
Probably
I'm not
because
sure.
they needed to move him, and he doesn't want to play for the Lakers, which I can't say I blame him.
He didn't demand a trade, so I don't know. I
but
I don't understand. He's a good player though.
There's something that you realize that you don't really need a trade. Like I was talking with a couple guys, they came to me and was like, "How do you demand a trade?" I was like, "You don't really need it to demand a trade. If you got a problem, most of these owners are chill owners. There's a few that are dickheads. Most of them are pretty easy to get along with because staff wouldn't put an owner in place for someone that's difficult to get along with. They have in the past, but it's not usually the case.
Remix.
So, most of the time." Wow, you just went right there. Most of the time, as a player, you go to your owner and say, "Listen, move me," or "Hey, could you send me down?" or "Hey, I don't want to play for you." And most owners, if you don't want to be there, they don't want you there. So, I mean, they don't have a problem with moving you, getting ready to you, whatever. They might ask you why or whatever situation. But there's nothing. Most of the time, you don't have to ask for a trade. You could just ask for it. You don't have to technically demand it. Moving around.
And then also think, if you're an asshole about it and demand a trade, you're gonna be playing for trainer. Let's be real.
Ouch.
So they probably might want to approach it in a better way. Like hey man, I want to be traded, man. It's just not a fit for me. Instead of I demand a trade, fuck you, and then they're gonna be like, fuck you, you're gonna go play for the Lakers. That's how it works. So just be cool, and maybe it'll work. Or if not, demand a trade for me. Demand a trade to me, and make it happen.
Well, you can't now. Trade deadline's over. Ends tomorrow.
Right, now you can't.
Got 12 hours.
Now you can't.
Let's hurry this along. We've been on here way too long. So let's move into around the league. Anything we want to discuss that's going on around the league. Something I have to say real quick, but you can. I'm asking you before I do mine. Anything you want to say about around the league? Anything going on? There was plays of the week. Go check them out. That was kind of cool. I don't know if they're doing plays of the week, week 2, but week 1 was kind of cool.
Definitely dope. I've got a couple plays I want to send in too. That's pretty neat. Let's see, what else is it?
I'm still upset that my chase down block on JT wasn't in there, but I guess it just cancels the whole thing now.
The Pro League is up and running.
Oh well, that's where I was gonna say.
Doing that still, make sure y'all go holler at that. They're looking for owners, I'm pretty sure, right? Aren't y'all still looking for owners, Ice?
Yes. Well, I mean, we're not looking for owners. You bring your own team. You come in and pay and sign up.
Okay.
And I mean, if you're scared to go ahead and put the money up front, you just want to say, I wonder who's going to sign up. Put a post in there saying, I'm looking to take everybody's money. Who's with me? The way that it works is you sign up to the free agency for those of you that are going to get assigned to a team, but you pick who you want. It's not like you take your best 5, your best 6, 7, 8, whatever, and you play. It's just like any other money league out there, except we're considered an esports money league, so we actually pay out to the person that signed up, and you just go. I mean, dollar.
Here comes the money.
Here comes the money. So definitely sign up. The Pro League is up and ready to go. If you want to know more information, go to the Pro League. Check it out. Sign up. let somebody take your money or take somebody's money.
Absolutely.
I guess I don't know if that's a real thing.
Absolutely.
Anything else going on around the league? Anything? Nothing.
I can't really. If anybody still wants to apply for staff, man,
Still
more than
looking for
welcome
one
to do
staff
so.
member or two staff
hit
members
me
or
up,
whoever.
man. Yep. I mean, there's only 3 of us, so we could use the help, man. You
Hey.
know, I mean, everybody's voice matters, and so if you're looking
Perfect.
for staff, man, holla at your boy.
Irving, have anything to say before we jump off tonight? Anything at all? Anything you wanna say?
I mean, shout out to my boy G. It's his birthday today, so I had to get that in there.
No,
Shout out to my
shit,
team.
G.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, shout out to your team.
I
Keep
talk
winning
a lot of
games.
trash, and I say that I carry, but we definitely wouldn't be in the position we are in right now if we didn't have a good team. And
Way
I
to
don't
save yourself, man.
I don't take that for granted. I mean, we have a
Shout out to
pretty,
Z,
probably one of the
actually.
best teams I've ever played on. So
We're putting the
yeah,
squad
they
together.
actually did
man.
a great
He
bidding.
did. I'm very impressed.
Shout out
that it
to
matters,
the
and-
staff for doing what they do. Also, go listen to around the league. I forgot to bring up. Go listen to the breakdown. The breakdown was on. It was rather short. They just kind of ran through the teams and where they're at and discussed some things. It was realist and also Woody was on there. And shout out to Woody, dude. Talk about solid defense of the league and defense of your boy Ice. Man, I just sick Woody on him from now on.
Woody's
I don't even
very
gotta do
underrated,
anything.
man. He's put up about 3 tripped ups, so
Give a shout out to
definitely
Woody.
underrated on
Woody's
Tristan.
killing it. Anything else you want to discuss before we jump off? Anything at all? Nope.
I don't have anything.
Perfect. All right, let's go. We spent way too much time on here. I appreciate. Thank you to Irving for showing up tonight. I appreciate it. You finally got your spotlight. Let it shine, son. Let it shine.
Finally, man.
All right. And
Finally.
Sure, man.
and as always, to the one and only Mr. Texas James Smith.
Yes. I'm here, man. I catch a lot of heat, but I'm here every week.
Nobody loves
Holla
the
at your
commissioner.
boy.
Nobody loves the commissioner. Just so we're
I
clear.
know, man.
I was told nobody likes me either, but I'm okay with it. I still sleep comfortable, so I'm good. But nobody loves the
I ain't got a problem
commissioner.
with it. I live for that shit, so it's all good.
Catch us next week. We'll be here as well. EBA Tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yo, you know that YouTube shit that Cash Me Outside? How about that? That's from that chick from Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
I seen that shit. I saw that shit all the time, bro. I didn't know what the fuck that was, like forever. I heard my son playing Call of Duty the other day, and some kid killing me, and my son was like, "Hey, yo," someone was like, "Cash Me Outside." How about that? I was like, "What the fuck?" So I had to go check that shit out, man. But that shit's been on my mind all day, and then you was like, "Catch us next week." You just brought this shit up, it's random as fuck. But
Dude, we were
that
playing.
shit was kind of funny.
We were playing EBA late one night, and Mags' son's in the background. How about that? I just lost it. I lost it. It's fucking great. Irving, I mean,
Yeah.
dude, great
I
year
think
this
my
year,
teammates are upset, man.
man. Yeah, I didn't mean to make your teammates upset. All that shit talking.
Nah, I do that. Nah, I do that in the group, so they're used to it.
We know.
I say
we
this.
know.
I didn't say anything special tonight. I definitely said what's
But
always on my mind.
I've made
I
it
told the
clear.
truth.
Like I think it was last show. I said you could ball, and I said all that, and I said the main issue I had was like your personality was just a problem. But I mean, real shit though. I mean, you're bringing the work this season, man. I feel like Kyrie's your match. I feel like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's where it needs to
Well,
go.
I played. Yeah,
The
I
smooth
played.
crossover.
Yeah, I
that's-
played. So, like, this isn't the first season I've ever played with Kyrie. You know what I mean? So I'm used. I've done it before.
But it's the first season in
Others.
2K though, right? It's the first season in 2K.
I didn't say this on
You,
the.
I didn't want to bring it up on the show because you don't like talking about the LGBA, but I played Kyrie in the LGBA, and basically we're in the same type of offense, but
Well,
like more of a random people.
I didn't say this on the show, but you're having a better season, I think, than Mike Man did last year with him.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up
Yeah,
too.
you
That
did.
people are gonna talk about how good Kyrie is and that he's a coach, but no one's really done this with Kyrie yet. And people have had the opportunity. This Kyrie right now isn't any different than when Mike Man played him or when whoever played him, and they weren't doing this kind of thing. So I feel like I'm doing what I have to do to win games. That's really all I'm trying to do.
For sure.
My line,
All right,
my line expects.